What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about a horror movie that is streaming on Shudder that is a few years older now that I was really interested to check out because I'll be honest, I've read a lot about it online. I have not experienced a lot of Indonesian horror films, and I've heard a lot of amazing things about Indonesian horror and about how many great movies that there are in the horror genre that come from Indonesia. And this director in particular has made several films, and I've heard his name thrown around quite a bit. I know there are a lot of horror fans out there that really appreciate his work. And this couple of movies, there's Satan Slaves and then Satan Slaves 2 Communion, I believe, that I hear thrown around a lot. And for some reason, even though they're streaming on Shudder, I've never gotten around to seeing them. And I was reading a little bit about this online, and apparently this is like a loose remake prequel to an already existing movie that I think came out in like the 80s, sometime around that time period. I am completely unfamiliar with the original. I don't know anything about it. I'm just going into this movie because I've heard some good things about it. I've heard some people say that it's very well done. It's paranormal, which I absolutely love. I love any sort of haunting or paranormal movie. So I went into this relatively blind outside of reading the plot description and hearing some people say that they enjoyed it. And the movie I'm going to be discussing with you today is Satan's Slaves. Satan's Slaves is directed by Joko Anwar. After dying from a strange illness that she suffered for 3 years, a mother returns home to pick up her children. So I was really excited to watch this movie. Like I said, I've heard some really good things about it. I've heard great things about Indonesian horror in general. And this movie was awesome. I genuinely loved this a lot. And I'm actually really looking forward to watching the sequel because of how great this movie was. I feel like it does an excellent job at building up atmosphere and tension. Great family dynamics. The performances in this movie are excellent. While it can have its share of tropes, there's a number of jump scares in this movie. I think it's balanced well enough with genuinely horrific imagery and very solid storytelling that makes it a really entertaining experience. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it today. At the beginning of the movie, we are shown this household, and it's a family living together. And at first we're introduced to the siblings of the family. We have the oldest, her name is Rini, and she seems to do a lot of housework and make sure that the kids are taken care of. And then, like, going down through the list, it's her and then her brother Tony, who's a little bit younger than her. And the two youngest are Bondi and Ian, and they all seem to have the normal kind of family dynamic. They butt heads a little bit, but they all seem to genuinely love each other. And then in the family, we have grandma who lives at the house with them. And then we have their mother, Mawarni, and their father, Bari. And they all live together in this one house. But what we learn really early on is Mawarni is incredibly ill. She can't hardly get out of bed. She has this bell that she rings to get any sort of assistance upstairs. And what we learn about her is she used to be this incredibly famous singer, and her music career was off the charts and it was incredibly popular. The family had a ton of money, but the royalties from her music are running out. She's not as popular as she once was. This movie takes place in the early 80s, and her music just isn't doing as well as it can. And we can see early on that Rini goes into the office of the record company and says, "Hey, do you have any money at all? We're really struggling." And the guy says, "No, we don't." So early on in the movie, the father kind of states, "We've got to figure something out, otherwise we're not going to survive." And the mother, unfortunately, passes away really early on in the movie, and it completely and totally destroys the family. They don't really know how to move forward. Well, of course, after she dies, weird things start happening around the house. The kids start to notice things moving around. Some of them believe that they have seen her. And the entirety of the film is the family trying to investigate, is their mother coming back to life, or is this something sinister posing as their mother, trying to do something horrible to the family? Like I said, I genuinely loved this movie. I thought this was such an awesome viewing experience, and I really didn't know what to expect when I went into it. But this has everything that I love about a great horror movie, especially paranormal, haunting type of movies. But for starters, I want to talk about the performances. I thought the entire family in this movie did a phenomenal job of really sort of building this relationship dynamic where you cared about each and every one of the characters. Even the like young child actors in this movie all did a really incredible job. And I think it wouldn't work as effectively if the actors that played these family members weren't as great at their jobs as they are. But they really build a convincing dynamic where they clearly all very much love each other. They're going through this horrific tragedy, and it just so happens that this horrible paranormal thing starts to happen to them. And they're constantly just asking through the movie, like, why me? Why us? Why is this happening to us? And I think that there's an element of that that really sort of resonates with when people lose a loved one. Like, we all sort of ask, why is it us? Why is this occurring to us particularly? And that's unfortunately just life. People die, things happen, and I really thought the reaction of these characters to these certain situations made a really effective horror movie. Secondly, visually, this movie is fantastic. There's a lot of really great moments of long shots in the cinematography where it really captures the space of an entire area. There's a lot of moments where you capture something out of the corner of your eye or like a shadow looming in the distance. And I really think, as I said, there's some jump scares in this movie and there's some horror cliches, but there's a lot of really incredible tension building moments through the camera, lingering and forcing you to look at something out of the corner of your eye. I found myself in this almost 2 hour runtime constantly wondering, is something going to jump out? Is there something hiding around the corner? Is there something right behind a character? There's a lot of really great moments in this movie with like a character moving in and out of the frame, and you're like, is something going to appear behind them? And sometimes it would happen, and sometimes it wouldn't. And that's a testament to a really fantastic director that just because you assume something's going to happen doesn't necessarily mean it is, and they'll have that level of restraint to kind of put it in the movie at the perfect moment. And there were a ton of moments throughout this movie that I just felt the director did a really excellent job kind of holding your attention and really putting that scare in there at the perfect moment. I thought that the musical choices in this were really great, very eerie and ominous. Really helped kind of envelop you in this truly terrifying story. And like I said, the movie goes a direction that I thought was really interesting. Once certain pieces of information are revealed, it's not necessarily hard to kind of discern what direction it's going to go, but I feel like it's so well executed, and the performances are all really great, and the scares are genuinely horrifying, that it's easy to sort of carry you along for the entire runtime of the movie. And I just really enjoyed myself throughout this entire film. There were a couple of moments that I was like, wow, this will stick out in my brain for quite some time. And I'm really looking forward to watching the second movie. And I'm really excited to watch this director's other work. And I've seen his catalog is relatively large. And I definitely want to check out more movies that he's done. So if you've seen some work from this director, let me know in the comments what some of your favorite films from him are. Or if you're familiar with Indonesian horror, let me know in the comments some Indonesian horror films that you really appreciate, because I really liked this. And if there's more in this similar vein, I'd really like to check them out. So have you seen Satan's Slaves? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was excellent. I really enjoyed it a lot, and I honestly will be looking forward to revisiting it in the future. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.